channel. So today I'm going to be talking about miscarriage and my pregnancies after miscarriage. I do want to start off by saying I'm going to be talking about my experiences and the emotions that I went through and how I feel in my pregnancies after miscarriage. This is not indicative of how everybody feels. I am not an expert by any means on grief or guilt or miscarriage or infertility. This is just my story, and these are some of the things that I went through, and I'm just hoping that someone somewhere that this will help. If you guys want me to do a follow-up video with things to do or things not to do or things that helped me cope or stuff that other people did for me that helped me get through, I can totally do that. I can do a follow-up video for questions, anything like that. But I've recorded this video 3 times already, and every time I've been talking for way too long and I'm not getting to a point. So I've just decided that I'm just going to share my story, my feelings, what I went through, and yeah, and just put it out there for everyone. Unfortunately, I hate that I understand or that I've done it or I've gone through it and I don't love it, but I love knowing that I can help other people. And I hope that even though it's a sucky situation for me or has been, that maybe someone out there is watching this and this is helping you some way or somehow, because I'm trying to make the best out of a bad situation for me. There's no right way to feel, and nobody can tell you how to feel. When I had my first miscarriage, I kind of ignored it and swept it under the rug. My second one, I was distraught and upset, and my third one, I was angry. Every time I've had different feelings, and none of those feelings are wrong. It's just how I was processing what I was going through, and there's no right or wrong way to feel when you're going through something traumatic like that. Everybody processes different. So know that if you're watching this and you don't necessarily agree with the way that I dealt with or coped with them, or you don't agree with the way that I felt, that's okay. This is such a deeply personal topic and a deeply personal situation that is going to vary. But I am going to go ahead and just give a background on my story, what happened in my past, my journey, and how I deal with being pregnant after a miscarriage. So I did have 3 miscarriages. I had 2 back-to-back. I had a healthy pregnancy, which resulted in my daughter Fiona, who is 2. And I had another miscarriage, and I am now pregnant. I am now 32 weeks pregnant, and so far it has been a healthy pregnancy. So my first miscarriage happened about a month after I got married. Me and my husband have been together since we were 16, so we knew that we wanted to start a family right away. So we went ahead and started trying, and I got pregnant the very first cycle that we tried. We were extremely excited. We couldn't believe it was happening so fast. And really, when you start to have a family or start to decide to make a family, a miscarriage never really popped into our mind. I never dreamed that that would happen to me. I had only known maybe 1 or 2 people that had ever gone through it. So I started spotting, and unfortunately at the time I had not seen my OB yet, who I was going to, so they couldn't really give me any medical advice, and they didn't want to see me for a while. It was just, you could be spotting, maybe something's wrong, maybe something's not. It could be normal, just watch it, we'll see you in a couple weeks for my first OB appointment. Now, this being my first pregnancy, I was very nervous and very scared, so after the spotting continued for a couple days, I went to the ER and got blood work done, ultrasound, everything the works, and it was confirmed that I was miscarrying or had miscarried. I was supposed to be about 6 or 7 weeks, so it was very early, but my body, for whatever reason, did abort the pregnancy, and so within the next couple days, I ended up miscarrying. So this came as a shock to me. I wasn't expecting it. I don't think most people are. And so when it happened, I was very upset for a couple days, but I moved on very fast. Kind of like, it was a fluke. These things happen. Sometimes it just happens, and I'm just going to move on. So I did, or I thought I did. So I moved on really fast. We took a cycle off that was recommended from our doctor, and we got to trying right away, and I became pregnant right away again. And this was December of 2015. Now, I had that first miscarriage, but like I said, I kind of just pushed it out of my mind. I was upset about it, but I pushed it out of my mind. It was never going to happen to me again. And it did. So I did start spotting again sometime in the first week of January, and I went to the hospital again, and then it was confirmed that I was miscarrying, and this time I was a lot more upset than I was the first time. I had a rough couple months after that. My body was very confused because I was pregnant, then I wasn't, then I was pregnant, then I wasn't, and so I was struggling internally for a couple months until I got pregnant again. I think what people don't understand, and I was about 6 or 7 weeks again, and so I got a lot of comments like, well, it was so early, at least you never saw a heartbeat, these things happen, at least you know you can get pregnant, things like that, and those kind of things made me feel worse. It made me feel like, oh, because I can get pregnant or because I never saw a heartbeat, that this shouldn't matter. And I processed both miscarriages at the same time then. And it was very upsetting for me. What people don't understand, or maybe they do or don't, but this is the way that I describe it now. The minute you take that pregnancy test and you see 2 lines, the minute that you know you're pregnant, you have this view of what your life should be like in the next couple years, about the changes. You know, I pictured me and my husband with a child, and all of the adventures that would come with that, and immediately I just see a future. And when you miscarry, that entire future is ripped away from you. Or in my mind, that's how it was. Things were supposed to change, but nothing does. And that was the hardest part for me to cope mentally, are the things that I was going through, and that was the hardest part for me. And did get to a point in time where I was wondering if I could even have kids, and this was only a 6-month time period, but I was very discouraged, I was very upset, I was very disheartened, and I didn't know what was going to happen in the future. Because this was my second miscarriage, we did some testing with the doctor. We did a bunch of blood tests to see if we could find any underlying issues, and unfortunately we could not. We found nothing. There was no reason for why I was miscarrying. It just happened. But my doctor did send me to a hematologist to get more testing done, a more thorough lab done, if you will. And we tested my blood even further, looking for clotting disorders or anything like that, and we found nothing. Our hematologist at the time decided that we could try Lovenox, which is a blood thinner, that just because we didn't see anything doesn't mean that something's not there that we don't know about. So we started a blood thinner when my next pregnancy, which resulted in my daughter, and then we would pair that with baby aspirin, all as preventative measures. So, like I said, my body was really out of whack for a while. My cycles were very short, and eventually my body did regulate, and I got pregnant in April of 2015. I found out I was pregnant on Mother's Day. So late April, like the first weekend of May, I found out I was pregnant, and I was terrified. I saw those 2 lines, and the thing that I felt was not excitement. It was pure fear. It was, what is going to happen? Why am I going through this? And am I going to keep this pregnancy? Yeah, I'm pregnant, but what's going to result in it? I started the Lovenox, and I did start the baby aspirin, and I did carry my daughter to term. About 39 and 6, I was induced, and I had a healthy baby, had a healthy pregnancy, and everything was great. So the thing that I really thought going forward from here was, we have a fix, right? So so the Lovenox fixed everything. It was always going to fix everything. So fast forward to about a year and a half, we decided that we wanted to have another child and grow our family. And so we started trying, and I got pregnant right away. And I did not even think again that I would miscarry because we had a fix for it. So I did start the Lovenox, and about a week later I started bleeding. I called my doctor, and we did betas. Everything was rising. They told me to be okay. So we had about a week that we were kind of just sitting in purgatory. We didn't know what was going on. My levels would rise, but then they would fall a little, but then they would rise. I was bleeding, but then I wouldn't. Then it was brown blood. So it was kind of like, am I pregnant? Am I miscarrying? I didn't know. I did eventually miscarry, and I was about the same time along as I was with the other two, about 6 or 7 weeks. And this time I was angry and I was frustrated because I thought we had a fix. I thought that I would never have to go through this again, and we had a fix. Why was it happening again? And I was very angry, and it was anger was what I felt, and I let myself feel it. And then I cried, and then I mourned, and then I was upset, and then I just wanted answers. I did end up leaving my OB office at that time because I just didn't feel that I was getting the support that I needed from them, which is totally fine. If you feel like you are not getting enough support from your doctor, leave and find another doctor, because that has been the most positive thing for me this pregnancy especially, is having a supportive care team that I know is behind me 112%. So I did switch OBs, and when I switched OBs, she decided to send me to a maternal fetal specialist to find out what was happening. Why am I miscarrying? Why am I not carrying my pregnancies to term? I can get pregnant relatively fast, but I cannot keep my pregnancies. And why? Why is that? So we had an appointment with the MFM, and I became pregnant. And when I found out that I was pregnant, I was very scared, and I was very mad at myself because I was supposed to be waiting and I didn't, because I was in a rush. I had to have another kid, and all I could think when I saw those 2 lines was, you're an idiot. You are so dumb. Why would you even take the chance of getting pregnant? You're going to see a specialist. You're going to miscarry again. You're going to be upset again. We're going to start from ground zero. I was so mad at myself, and then I was scared. What if I do miscarry again? What if it is okay? I had so many questions running through my mind. I couldn't even relax. We ended up seeing the MFM anyway, and she said that she had looked at all of my reports and had decided that she didn't think that I needed the Lovenox, but the baby aspirin I did. So we stopped the Lovenox. She said, I've looked at all your blood work. You ran it a million times. She goes, I don't see a reason for you staying on it. I don't think it's doing anything. I had started this pregnancy already as well. So for me, the Lovenox was a huge, huge crutch to rely on. Like, that was what was keeping me pregnant, but then again, it didn't the last time. So we went with the doctor's suggestion and we stopped it, and that was terrifying. I don't like giving my shots every day, but it was nice to know that something was there keeping me pregnant, or what I thought was. So we did stop the Lovenox, but continued with the baby aspirin, and everything turned out to be okay thus far. I am 32 weeks pregnant, and typically all of my miscarriages have been very early, first trimester, and if I can make it past that point, typically I don't have any issues. So this pregnancy has been a roller coaster, as well as my first pregnancy. I am always scared, and I am scared for a long time. I'm 32 weeks pregnant now, and every time I use the bathroom, I check for blood. Every time. Every time I stand up and I feel something, I rush to the bathroom to make sure that it's not blood. Sorry, that's a little TMI, but, I am constantly scared. Some days are better than others, and some days I don't even think about it. Sometimes I'm just pregnant, and some days I'm terrified. But what has really helped me this time is I have an amazing care team this time. I know that they'll call me back if I call. I know that if I have any issues, that they will follow up right away. I have had so many ultrasounds. I've had so many doctor's appointments. I'm starting weekly NSTs next week. as well as weekly ultrasounds and bi-weekly doctor appointments already. You know, I have so much extra monitoring. My doctors have never... I go back between two doctors because they both deliver at my hospital, and it's kind of a gamble on who's going to deliver my baby, on who's on call, so I like to stay in touch with both of them. They are both the most caring people I've ever met in my life. Their bedside manner is fantastic. So having a care team that you know has your back 100% has been the best thing for me. But, you know, I'm still scared. In the beginning, I had a Doppler and I checked for a heartbeat every other day, if not every day, for a very long time. Now that the baby is so much bigger, if I don't feel her for a couple of hours, you better believe that I am chugging water or orange juice or something just to see if she's going to move and feel her. It keeps my mind at bay, and I know that keeping me calm is the best thing for me at this point in time. But in all due honesty, I'm never going to feel perfectly fine until I deliver the baby. And even then, I probably won't feel 100% then. You know, after I had my daughter, I remember just staring at her and praying to God that He wouldn't take this baby away from me, because I was still so afraid of losing her. We were in the hospital with her at 16 days old because she had RSV, and I was terrified that I was going to lose my baby. I mean, I didn't lose her at 6 or 7 weeks gestation, but now, lo and behold, I was going to lose my baby, you know. I'm still very afraid of those things, and they're always in the back of my mind. Another feeling that I have a lot is guilt. So not so much with my first pregnancy, but this one, it has been a lot harder. It's a lot more painful. I have a toddler to run around, so I'm more tired. I find myself not loving pregnancy as much as I did the first time. The first time I was scared my entire pregnancy, but I was also that annoying pregnant lady who loved being pregnant, loved everything about being pregnant, and it was like the best thing that ever happened to me. This time is a very different feeling for me, and I do love being pregnant, and I love growing a baby, but at the same time, it's been really hard for me this time, and I am just 100% done already at 32 weeks, and I ache, and I ache, and I'm in pain, and the baby's low, and I have to use the bathroom 12 times a day, and I'm not sleeping, and I'm just tired, and, you know, there's a lot. And as I find myself complaining about that, I let myself complain, but then I feel guilty. How dare you be upset and complain about your pregnancy when you know that you could not keep a pregnancy before? You should be grateful to even be pregnant, and I am so grateful, but I do have a lot of that guilt, and I just kind of tell myself that it's okay to feel those ways. Just because I am complaining about being pregnant and not 112% thrilled with it doesn't mean that I don't love my baby, because I do. And it doesn't mean that I'm not happy to be pregnant, because I am. So there's a lot of feelings and emotions that go through being pregnant. And sometimes I feel like pregnant after having a miscarriage, and I do feel like I don't always bond with my pregnancies right away. I'm afraid to even think about it, because what if it doesn't happen? I don't want to get attached even more than I am, but as anybody knows who's had a miscarriage or been pregnant or had a baby or anything like that, once you find out you're pregnant, you're very much attached already. So those are just some of the things that I tell myself. But I let myself feel however I want to feel. And if I'm scared, I call the doctor. And I know that because I'm happy doesn't mean that I'm going to jinx myself. Or at least I try to tell myself that. And just because I'm not happy does not mean that I'm not grateful for carrying a child now. But those are my feelings. I hope that this video helped anybody out there. So I just wanted to put my feelings out there, how I feel, how I kind of deal with pregnancy after miscarriage, and my story, what I've been through. I do want to make a second video with any questions anybody has or any advice on how to cope. I hope that someone somewhere out there got something from this, and you know, if you feel like you need to talk, you can reach out to me. All my social media information is listed. That's another big thing that has helped me cope, is I found people that went through similar situations, and I talk with them, and it's what really saves me at the end of the day, because not necessarily every friend or every family member is going to understand what you're going through, and a lot of them aren't going to know what to say, and a lot of them aren't going to know what to do, so they're going to probably pretend that it didn't happen, or they're going to be overly trying to check in with you. I mean, it's a messy situation and nobody really knows how to act. So I found an online community. I reached out to friends who had been through the same situation, and I surrounded myself with people that I love and know that are supportive of me. That was my biggest thing. And now I share my story for anybody who wants to hear. And if anybody needs to talk to me, I am more than happy to talk to anybody, because I think it's important to have someone to talk to. So if you liked this video, remember to give it a thumbs up. And if you're loving my channel so far, I'd love to have you subscribe. We have so much more to come. More pregnancy, more babies, more toddler life, more mom life, more marriage life. I have so much to share with all of you, and I can't wait. Bye! Thanks for watching.